Hi, friends. I'm Katie.
And I'm Lauren, and welcome to Okay, But Did You Know? A podcast where we talk about the TV and media that we love with a friend who's never seen it before.
Today, we're recapping and chatting about Bob's Burgers, Season 4, Episode 19, The Kids Run Away, and Episode 20, Gene It On. But we always start with a synopsis. So, first, for The Kids Run Away, it's time for the kids' dentist appointments, and Louise hates the dentist. Dr. Yap finds a cavity, and Louise runs away to avoid getting a filling. Her and her siblings eventually end up at their Aunt Gail's. Bob and Linda enjoy some time without the kids and make a bet with Louise that if she can last the weekend with Gail, she doesn't have to get the filling. Tina acts as the inside man and works with her parents to make Louisa stay with Gail as unenjoyable as possible. In the end, they give Louise ice cream as a reward, and it hurts her cavity so much she agrees to get the filling, with Gail's unique methods to get through uncomfortable situations. But it was a Gail episode.
It was a Gale episode.
We always start off with our puns for the opening credits, though. And so, what did you get for the vacant storefront?
A unicycle built for two, tandem unicycles.
Which wouldn't that just be a
With two
bike?
seats, yeah.
But then I don't know. That's a play on the "A Bicycle Built for Two" lyrics from the song Daisy Bell.
Daisy, Daisy.
Apparently, it was written in 1892. Pest control truck.
I would believe that. I mean, it was featured in. So that song, sadly, I know it very well. Only because it was in a VHS tape that was a compilation of like original Alvin and the Chipmunks cartoons that I used to watch.
Oh
I used to watch
goodness.
that all the time at my grandma's house for
Mm-hmm.
whatever reason. Don't ask me why. Um, I don't have an answer. It's just that's what she had, and we watched it at her house. That was the tradition. I don't know. But yeah, so being written in the 1800s, I would believe that since the Alvin and Chipmunks are from the late 50s, early 60s.
Yeah.
Which actually, funnily enough, the Alvin and the Chipmunks Christmas song, the like, I wanna play in that loops the loop, gee, I want a
Yes.
hula hoop. That song was number one the day my dad was born.
Oh wow.
His birthday's
My
around
goodness.
his birthday's around
Okay.
Christmas.
I would hope so.
Yeah.
So what did you get for the pest control truck?
Mouse of Cards Pest Control, and I will admit, this is just me forgetting how long ago things happened. I didn't realize House of Cards was around at this point when the episodes were airing. I
Yeah.
forget when things happen.
And I think this was before Kevin Spacey,
I would
and
as-
things.
I would assume this was like as soon as House of Cards got popular.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for, honestly.
Yeah.
And there is a burger of the day.
A single burger of the day, yes. It is the onion ring around the rosemary burger.
I kind of like this one.
I do. I mean, ring around the rosy. I mean, if you look too deeply into the history behind that nursery rhyme, it's a little terrifying. But
A little.
it's a
Yeah,
good pun. And
it
also
is a good pun.
onion ring and rosemary. Apropos, since before recording we were talking about how much I want onion rings right now. Uh,
So this is perfect timing.
perfect timing. Onion rings and horseradish cream sauce. It's delicious. Try it.
There is another burger of the day that is kind of visible.
Did I write down? I did write that down.
It is
I think
possibly Sergeant Poblano Pepper's Lonely Artichoke Hearts Club burger.
yes. That's what I wrote down.
Which is a lot.
It's a lot of words.
It's a lot of words. That's for a parody of the Beatles album, Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band.
Yes.
I don't have a ton of like fun facts for either of these episodes, but I'm sure we're gonna have plenty to say.
Mm-hmm. I think so.
But of course, one of my favorite things is their movie references and Louise's line, "Don't bother tracing this call because I'm not going to be on long enough," is a parody of Hannibal Lecter's line when he talks to Clarice Starling at the end of The Silence of the Lambs, which love Hannibal. Like that's one of those, like love those. Oh my goodness.
Oh yeah.
The song that starts with Deo that Gail references in her poem is a reference to the 1956 song, The Banana Boat Song by Harry Belafonte.
Which is currently still trending on TikTok with a lot of people's cat videos.
Yeah, it is. When Louise takes the bite out of the ice cream, she does the same scream as the one Mabel Pines did in the Gravity Falls episode Gideon Rises. The scream is a sample of Christian Shaw screaming since both characters are voiced by her.
That makes sense.
It does make sense. But like this episode very much is all about Louise.
Oh yeah.
And Gail's uniqueness.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about seeing inside Gail's apartment?
We've seen like roughly inside of it before, haven't we? Ish,
Uh, ish. This is your
ish.
first like experience of how Gail lives her life.
That's fair. Yeah. I mean, her needing to pretend that there are mutant carnivores out and it's the end of the world. That's how she sleeps at night. I think my response was, Gail, are you okay? The answer is no. No, she is not.
Also,
Um,
under the Murphy bed.
yes, under the Murphy bed. I mean, I will say that I don't know if I've said this on the podcast before or just been telling other stories to you. I mean, I wasn't under a Murphy bed, but in college, because we had the beds that you could like loft or like rise
Oh
and
wow.
put down. Not they were hard to do it. They didn't really encourage you to do it, but you could if you wanted to. Mine was stuck my junior year. It was stuck at the highest possible position it could go. Like we could not get it out of the frame, no matter
Oh
how hard we
no.
tried, without basically breaking it. So my solution to this, so I wouldn't have to keep climbing on top of my dresser to get into my bed every day, was instead of being mattress on like the box spring, I use basically the bed itself, like the frame itself, as like a shelf, and then I put my mattress on the floor. And I basically kind of had like a little like cove with like a sheet for privacy. Um,
It works.
so that way, so I was under the box spring of my bed. But to be fair, like a normal person could sit upright without any problems in that
I could
space.
probably stand.
Maybe not quite that tall, but still.
But still. Yeah, it the cats.
Yeah, I wrote down like the claw covers. Those aren't good for your cats, right? Because they can't retract their claws if you have those on.
Yeah, they can't retract claws if they have that.
Like it's not
Because
a solution to
I don't
declawing your cats.
no, because I don't do declawing at
No,
all.
that's please do
But
not. That is
that's
not good for your cats.
it is not good for your cats. They need their claws, and so I'm curious if it's almost like I would be really worried about doing those, even if they were the ones that kind of like stickers that you can get on your
Yeah.
nails, the ones that are like replacement for nail polish. Are they like
Nah.
stickers almost? Because then it's terrifying of like if it gets lodged in their paw.
Yeah, no, you still because
So,
like they can't retract their claws, so it's gonna make them
hmm
just like they're gonna hurt themselves walking around basically on their claws the whole time. Like they're not designed to do
yeah.
that. So
And then, one of the cat's names being Pink Eye, and of course you have Mr. Business. I
hmm
don't think I caught the third cat's name.
no, me
Um,
neither.
we we see more of Mr. Business, but that's
hmm
about it.
Okay.
So this whole this whole episode is just Louise. Louise
Yeah.
being Louise. Ooh, so many kids are scared of the dentist, so it makes
Oh yeah.
complete sense for the storyline. But how did you feel about seeing that, like, Louise has always been this way? Because it's like, oh, I forgot I buried this at 6. Like,
Yeah,
she's always been this way.
I was laughing like, why did she bury a go bag in the river?
Because it's Louise.
Because yeah, it's Louise. It makes sense, and I'm like, yeah, because my dentist from where I live, my dentist is like a good like hour and a half, 2 hours. Because
Oh
I don't
wow.
know,
Oh
I
yeah,
don't.
you've told me about that.
Yeah, because we don't go to the dentist anymore because he caused more dental issues than he fixed. But as a kid growing up, I never realized that cavity fillings were usually their own appointments.
Oh.
Because our dentist was so far away, he usually built in enough time with my family of four that if someone did have a filling, that there was enough time in the schedule just to get it done that day, which was always very nice of him to do that.
Oh
But
yeah, getting everything done right away.
so I never like the thing of like going and getting like a cleaning and then having to go back for the filling.
Hmm.
I didn't know that was a thing as a kid. But
Oh, yeah.
I still
I
don't like
wasn't
the
taken
dentist.
to I wasn't taken to the dentist growing up. So
hmm
like as an adult, I started going and had to, learn so
Yeah.
much that I was did not know.
hmm
Now, of course, I go very often.
Yeah.
Which, so I'm that 30-year-old that still wants braces
hmm
because you've seen,
Yeah.
Um because I was just my parents weren't able to get them for me when I was a kid. I never
Yeah.
went to the dentist.
Yeah.
So one day maybe.
hmm
Like I'm still young.
Yeah. You got time. But yeah, Yap should not have waited any amount of time to tell Bob and Linda that she was gone.
Oh yeah, no,
None.
whole like Yap, Yap doing Yap was a bit interesting in this because he's doing the cleanings and not communicating with the parents very well, and it was a time with him.
Like I can only speak for myself. At least when we went to our dentist, there was always a parent in the room with the dentist.
Mm-hmm.
Like he didn't just send the kid in, depending
Yeah.
on
I mean,
the year.
Autumn's slowly starting to kind of chill on her own, but like the way the dentist is set up where we go, the waiting room is literally right next to the door where the room they use for her. And so I'm literally like right around the
Hmm.
corner if I'm not in the room with her. So like I'm still
Yeah.
right there. I can hear everything. They
Hmm.
keep the door open for me in case she needs me. So like
Gotcha.
it's nice because then she's slowly starting to like
Hmm.
transition on doing it on her own. So it's
Hmm.
nice that they do that because like it can help kids like get to that point. Because the
Yeah.
dentist is scary.
Hmm. It is.
They're like putting things in your mouth.
But
Oh my goodness. So I feel like Teddy kind of ruined this episode for me.
yeah, a
So,
little
like
bit.
we don't talk too much about what's going on in the episode all that much. I'm noticing, but it's because it's a good episode. But then you have Teddy.
Yeah.
Teddy is not it
Hmm.
in this episode. You're kind of like, dude, will you stop?
Yeah. I feel like maybe it's the way that I watched it. I kind of almost like blacked him out the whole time. Like until he was literally
Oh.
getting into their car, I kind of forgot that he
Mm-hmm.
had any involvement to begin with.
Yeah, he's. I mean, he gives his suggestions of what they should do and all this other fun stuff, and he's talking to them. But like the whole situation of him being in the car kind of annoyed
Hmm.
me. It was like you give them their night. He wants to be so much wants to be a part of someone else's lives.
Yeah.
You can tell it's because he's lonely.
Hmm.
But there's times that I'm like, Teddy, no,
Please go
let's
away.
not do this. I did love just seeing Louise throughout this episode. I love the Louise episodes personally, but I love
Hmm.
Louise. Like the Tina episodes are
Yeah.
interesting. Jean episodes are, it's a 11-year-old
Yeah.
boy. But then you have Louise, it's just so out there.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
She's kind of fun to watch.
She is. Well, it's like I thought Gail's thing of like turning the fear believe into make believe, like that's not a
Mm-hmm.
bad tactic. Is if the best way to get this kid to do what's best for her is to distract her with some level of make believe, like maybe not to the point where it's actually getting in the way of him doing what he has to do, but that's the way to get her in there. Like with like they have to insert a secret agency chip that with plans they'll save the world. Like, sure, give her the Death Star plans. Like, if that gets her back in the chair, that's
Yeah,
what matters. But that's not bad. Although
I have to
I
agree.
did write down Gale Force Winds was giving me Cones of Dunshire vibes.
Oh my goodness. It
Yeah, right.
is. I didn't even think about that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good oh man. Why didn't I think of that?
Must not forget about the most important thing. It's the cones.
It's the
Cones.
cones. What did you rate this?
So this one honestly did pretty well because I did enjoy it. But the Teddy stuff notwithstanding, my favorite line still was
Mm-hmm.
when she was trying to pretend that she was 43 at the hotel at first. And she said something about
Oh my
when I
god.
got back, like this is what my platoon in Nam told me, and I'm like, who do you think you are, Louise, Principal Skinner? Because it's an ongoing.
Oh my
I haven't watched The
goodness.
Simpsons in a long time, like recent episodes, but at least in earlier episodes, like because it made sense for the time period. Principal Skinner was a Vietnam War veteran, um,
Mm-hmm.
so he constantly make references to that like all the time. And one of my favorite ones is it was an episode where they get snowed in to the school, and I don't remember what happened. The kids overthrow his authority and other stuff happens, but he's like trapped and he's trying to like get like word out that they're trapped in there. And towards the end of the episode, he finds a hamster and a hamster ball, and he puts like a help note in it and sends the hamster out, and just you hear him go, "Godspeed, Nibbles, Godspeed."
Oh my
I don't know. It's
goodness.
just that's anytime anyone mentions Nam in another cartoon, it always makes me think of that.
Okay, but I love that, and I need to watch more Simpsons because I haven't really watched much
I'll
Simpsons.
give you a list of like key episodes to watch
Okay.
because there are, I think, at this point over 700.
Wow.
It's been on the air for 35 years, 36
Yeah.
years.
So what's your total on
Um,
this?
so my score is I gave it a 10 for personal, and then a
Okay.
9 for plot, and a 9 for character, so it gets a 28.
That's actually really good. It's a
It's a good
fun
score.
episode. Like so much happens, but
It really
it's so
is.
much
So
fun.
much happens.
I actually
Yeah.
gave plot and personal 10 because I love the episode.
Okay.
I love the plot, but character gets 9
Mhm.
because of Teddy being annoying.
That's fair.
So 29 for me. We're only a point off again, which I always
Mhm.
find funny. But all in all, very enjoyable episode. I really love that one. So now we're gonna go into season 4, episode 20, Gene It On. Tina is trying out for the cheerleading squad, and Linda is overly excited for one of her kids to be a cheerleader. Jean makes the team instead of Tina, and Linda is overjoyed. Tina hurts her tongue during tryouts, and Louise deems herself her interpreter. Mr. Ambrose, the faculty member in charge of the cheer squad, is obsessed with drama and pits the students against each other. Louise gets herself out of homework and class to be there for Tina, leading to Tina getting a date with Jimmy Jr. Drama ensues within the cheer squad, and they find out at their competition that their routine was stolen. They change their routine, and it doesn't end well. Louise gets what she wants out of Tina and Jimmy Jr.'s date and ends up losing her pie in the sky. But she did.
She did.
She did. What did you get for the vacant storefront?
The Nightlight Zone.
It's for the Twilight Zone.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Pest control truck.
That was So You Think You Have Ants, Exterminators.
For the TV series, So You Think You Can Dance.
Yes.
Yep, okay. And for your burgers of the day.
There were 2 burgers, at least that I got. Yes. So, there was Parma Chameleon Burger with Parmesan crisp, which is good, but does make it sound like the burger is made out of chameleon.
It does, but I guess like the Parma is supposed to be like the Parmesan.
I get what they're going for, but that does make it sound like it's made out of chameleon.
I would hope not.
I hope so too.
Well, I mean, they had people come for human flesh. Maybe they'll come for chameleon.
That's true. Something tells me that's not safe for human consumption.
I don't think so.
Just a guess. And the other one was the Blue Bayou Burger with locally sourced blue cheese.
I don't like blue cheese.
Me neither.
Oh, thank goodness. My husband loves it. I don't know how he does it.
Nah.
He loves it.
I've had like Gorgonzola. That's like about as close as I'll get to like real blue cheese.
Mm-hmm. So I have very few notes on this. We have Billy Eichner returns as Mr. Ambrose, our librarian. Yep. And did you figure out who Todd was?
Was that Keegan-Michael Key?
That was Keegan-Michael Key.
Okay, I was right.
Like I said, they like to Keegan and oh my god,
Jordan Peele.
Thank you. They return quite a bit for different roles, and they're all so much fun. This is of course a parody of Bring It On, which we pretty much grew up on those movies.
Yep.
So it's one of those you really need to like understand that it's a parody to be able to enjoy it. In my personal opinion, like you have to look at it through the lens of Bring It On.
Yeah,
have to. But this is also the first episode where Zeke yells out "Do what?" Which in his shock, and this later becomes like a kind of regular catchphrase for him. And this is the first time that we see it, so you will hear him say that again many times. I really don't have a lot of notes for this, just because there weren't any.
Yeah, this one was
it's just very much as Bring It On.
Pretty much, yeah. I will admit, Zeke is growing on me.
Zeke, he's a fun time.
He really is. Like the first time we saw him, he was annoying, but now it's just like I love the non sequiturs that come out of his mouth.
He's that like just spot of humor when you really need it.
Yeah. Ironically, because this is a comedy show.
Ironically, well, you'll have like serious things. There's like them all having like discussions, and like so Zeke says something, and you're just like brought back into the fact that it is comedy, which is so much fun. Yeah. Louise is a genius, by the way. That is all. Like,
yeah,
I love that she takes her opportunities to just do what she wants.
Oh yeah, and like maybe this is because I was watching it with captions. I didn't think Tina was that hard to understand personally.
She wasn't.
No.
I think that's the point.
Yeah.
I think it's really funny that apparently being more pushy is what gets Jimmy Jr. to be like, oh wait, okay, I'm all for this. So I guess, you know, he needs someone a little bit more forward with him.
That's fair.
I also feel weird when it comes to those two because we don't like Jimmy Jr.
No, Jimmy Jr. I could always say like he's a 13-year-old boy. He's acting more or less the way I would expect a 13-year-old boy to act. But at the end of the day, I'm just like, why?
Why is the child being a child?
Yeah, but what does Tina see in him? Truthfully, is my question.
I truly don't know. It could be also just he's there. He's always across the street because his dad, the restaurants are across from each other. It could really be just that thing of like, he's nearby. He's always there. So it's easy.
I guess.
This was like the one episode that Tammy wasn't super annoying.
Yeah, she actually was making sense most of the time.
But the don't breathe in, you'll die that Jocelyn yells when Tammy farts. And I'm just like, oh my God.
That hasn't been proven.
It hasn't been proven. I love moments like that because
Hmm.
Tammy's ongoing thing is that she farts.
Yeah, which actually is an accurate stereotype. A lot of Jews do have gastrointestinal issues.
Really?
Yeah.
I never took it as like a stereotype or anything
No,
because
I
I
don't.
guess I didn't
It's
know.
no, yeah. It's a joke. Usually with us, it's we either have some kind of lactose intolerance or some kind of further gastrointestinal distress. Like I know, like we've talked about this, like Crohn's
Yeah.
runs in your family.
Yes.
Crohn's is very Crohn's and ulcerative colitis is very common in the Ashkenazi Jewish community.
Okay, that's it. I need a DNA test.
You do, so we can figure this
I
out.
need it.
But like,
Well, it's
it's
funny
because
because my
it runs in my
uncle.
family.
Yeah. Well, it's just funny because my uncle has looked more into it, and he goes to
Hmm.
temple
Ah,
and is learning Hebrew and doing all the things, even though we weren't raised Jewish or anything. So I'm just like, I
hmm.
need a DNA test,
Yeah.
please.
Mine came back. Well, not mine, my brother's, but either way, 98.2% Ashkenazi Jewish.
Wow.
Like we are, like he and I are the first generation going back that have been with people not of our religion.
That's wow.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Yeah, if you think about it, it is cool, but it's just like, but it's also the fact of he spent however much money on 23andMe for that.
Okay, that's fair though. Like when you've been raised within that community, it's kind of like, are you really don't know what we have?
Like it's the thing of like you kind of want to hope there's something else here because like the red hair is yes common in the Jewish community, but it's like you kind of want to hope it's from something else just like for to spice things up a little bit.
Just a little, add a little
No,
spice.
no, we're just adding a little bit of chicken bouillon. That's the spice.
Chicken.
It's as spicy as we get.
After you've just said so many times about your horseradish, which is even
I love
funnier.
horseradish. That's the thing is horseradish, wasabi. Truthfully, I want it to just clear out my sinuses. I want to breathe better than I ever have before.
Once
I'm just
again, you and
saying.
my husband are the same person.
I'm just saying my DNA is not spicy. Does not mean that I cannot take
Your
spicy
DNA
food.
is not spicy.
I am not my girlfriend, whom I love dearly, but she thinks black pepper is spicy.
Oh no.
She's eaten things and she's like, "Oh, it's spicy. I can eat it." And I eat it, and I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
I'm like that in between. Oh yeah, we were talking about Bob's Burgers.
Oh yeah, we were.
The
So I
jockstrap?
the jockstrap is not the disguise that he thought it was.
No.
I still hate Mr. Ambrose.
Mm-hmm.
Like truthfully, like
I had a feeling.
I like every time he's involved, he's stirring up shit. I was gonna stop myself for it's my podcast. We can say whatever we want. He's stirring up
What to
shit.
say?
He's stirring up shit where like these are children.
They are.
Like Bring It On is one thing. I mean, they're teenagers, but they're still minors either way. But they're teenagers. These are 11 to 13-year-olds,
That's Ambrose.
literal children, and you are causing actual drama between them for no particular reason.
I have like situations where I enjoy him, like with Topsy.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoy him with the Topsy situation of him being like, "Oh, go look into this," but I told you nothing. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of funny. Billy Eichner can't seem to do a role where he's not yelling.
Yeah, this is fair.
So, like, that's just Billy Eichner. And then there's another episode you haven't gotten to yet that I kind of enjoy him in, but the episode in itself, I think you are really going to love. I actually want you to watch it with Emily if you have an opportunity when you get there,
Okay.
just because it makes me happy.
Okay.
But of course, as you can see, he's not too often, at least.
Yeah, no, he's like I dislike him a lot, but luckily he's not in all the time. Like this, I don't see him being a case of a character where I'm going to grow. He's going to grow on me, like Zika said has grown on me. Jean grew
Gene
on
has
me.
grown on you.
Teddy has even grown on me to an extent. To an extent, not quite there yet. To an extent,
He has
so.
good episodes and he has bad moments.
Mm-hmm.
It's like
But
that Uncle Teddy episode really helped, I think.
yeah,
There's just not much to say about this episode or these episodes in general, but we are about to watch your first ever two-parter in
yes.
Bob's Burgers. How
Mhm.
are you excited? How do you feel
I
about it?
I am excited because I feel like because our finale is like we usually end up doing like for each season we end up doing one episode. Usually,
Mhm.
that's just how the seasons have ended up working out. But because I feel like compared to the Once Upon a Time stuff, the Bob's Burgers ones are mostly vibes. Like there's a central
Mhm.
plot to the episode, but there isn't. I like when you can kind of see episodes that interconnect. Once Upon a Time is predominantly plot heavy. This week isn't very indicative of that, as this week nothing happened. But I feel like with like I feel like it's always such a stark departure from once, where we are talking about the plot and how these things kind of connect and what all these things can mean and all these mysteries. And Bob's is like it's its own little thing. But to be able to, I guess, like follow a plot over like a much longer spans of time of these two episodes, I'm very
Hmm.
excited.
Oh yeah, it's so much all in one too. Like, and I like anytime they include the wharf because it's right there.
Yeah,
It's great when they, because it's called, but you can see what it's called. Like, you know that the wharf is included. Wharf
yeah,
Horrors, World Wharf 2. Like, it's very obviously that.
yeah.
Um, let's actually go over our scores real quick too, though. But what did you give Gene it on?
This one got a 9 for plot, an 8 for character, and a 7 for personal. This one gets a 24.
So we have the same score.
Mm-hmm.
I gave plot a 7, character a 9, and personal an 8.
Oh,
We both gave it a 24.
I love that.
I noticed I just totally jumped into like, oh, what we're doing next, and was like, oh wait, we have scores too.
Let's at least close that part out. Yeah,
Let's close that part out real quick. But yeah, the next two, like your first two parter, and then we get to go into season 5,
yeah.
which I told you at the beginning of season 4 too. I was like, oh, I think you're gonna love season 4, and it ended up
Kind
kind
of
of
all
back
over
and
the
forth.
Yeah, kind of all over the place. So like with the two zeros right now, because it does alter the score a little bit. The average
Yes.
right now is 21. So I mean, it'll go up a little bit because
Mm-hmm.
because just there won't be zeros. My guess is the average this season is probably going to be about a 23, which is fine. It's probably going
That's
to be.
fine.
I mean, it's hard to compare it to the other seasons we've done so far though, because seasons 1 and 2 are very short.
Yeah,
Um,
because
like
let's
compared to
see,
season
that's
three's
not
average
that
is a
far off.
24.
My average right now is a 22.
Yeah, so
So
I'm just a little bit
that's
below.
yeah.
Oh, what am I? I'm not
Because
changing my formula.
season 5 does see, like, season 5 has one of a okay Halloween episode, one of my favorite Thanksgiving episodes. Like, there are some really good episodes in here,
Hmm.
but the one I'm most excited for you to even get to isn't even until season 5, episode 13.
Yeah. Well, it's like what I say about Once Upon a Time is like season 3. We've talked about it. Upcoming is for me has some very high highs and some very low lows. Like I know it's gonna. I mean, the 3 episodes I'm thinking off the top of my head that are gonna get 30s. I need to have forgotten about a very significant plot element of those 3 episodes for them not to get 30s. And but it's
Oh.
also like which I don't think I have because I've seen those 3 episodes a lot of times. So like it's not like what happened with this season with like the doctor. I expected it to get a 30 and then it didn't.
Yeah.
Kind of thing 'cause that happened a lot more this season. But like season 3 has, I said, has at minimum 330s. It has the episode that I promise will be in a British accent entirely, and I think by my math, we're recording that sometime in September, based
I'm
off
here
of
for it.
our current schedule. If we don't take any more breaks than we already have scheduled. So that's you guys will hear that in next January maybe. Um, Depending on how our schedule works. So it has that character whom I love, and she in and of herself is a walking plot hole, but I kind of don't care. Um, 'Cause she's just fun and she's chaos and it's amazing. But that season starts out with an arc that I know I don't personally care for a multitude of reasons, and I know for a fact we are going to see at least 2 episodes that are going to have my first zeros for certain categories. If like at least personal, I don't know if I'll get. I may not give things zeros for character and plot,
Mm-hmm.
but we are going to get my first zero for personal. At least 2 of them in the first half
Oh
of season
wow.
3. So like it's like I have a hard time saying like season 4 is one I say is chaos from beginning to end. It's just 2 different types of chaos. So I'm like, I am excited for you to get to season 4 of Once Upon a Time because that one
Mm-hmm.
is the Frozen arc is the first half, and the second half is the Queens of Darkness with Mal. Mal's coming back with Cruella and Ursula. So like that one is just chaos from beginning to end for a multitude of reasons, and it has the most chaotic episode ever to exist. And it's just I can't talk about it because it won't make sense.
No, I understand. And I'm really excited. I feel like I know this comes out in July, but for us,
Yeah.
the summer of recording we are about to have, because we're going to see the end of season 2 for you, and you get pretty much thrust into season 5 because, like, looking at these episodes, this two-parter, while you don't have to wait, thankfully, like as long
Hmm.
as everybody else did, it
Yeah.
kind of thrusts you into this next season where the episodes, you get into season 5, you finally are like actually have a relationship with these characters.
Hmm.
Not saying that you don't by season 4, but like season 1 and 2 are so short.
Yeah.
Once you get through 3 and 4, you finally have like better understanding and better relationship with the characters. So then you get into season 5. You know these characters, you love these characters, you hate
Mm-hmm.
these characters, and season 5 does I think a wonderful job of
Mm-hmm.
getting such interesting things out of these characters. And so
Yeah.
it's going to be a ride.
Mm-hmm.
Um you may want off sometimes, but you're stuck here. So
I want to get off the
you're
ride.
welcome. Let me
I
off.
promise I will not jump into the ultra contaminated theme park water. I promise.
Yes, please don't. I
Will
do not
not.
recommend it,
No.
especially on Wonder Wharf of all places.
No, definitely not. I don't trust fish odor to sanitize any of that. But can
Mm-mm.
I say there's something specific? I don't know if it's Disney World specifically because it's been a while since I've been to other theme parks, but Disney World water has a very specific smell. Like once you get like in a ride that because it's just it's whatever they use to clean it basically. It smells like that. Like once you if you're getting to a ride that has a boat element like Pirates of the Caribbean or
Mm-hmm.
It's a Small World, like once you get like through the weaving of everything, once you get close enough to the room where you get on the boat, you can smell it before you walk in there.
Oh my. I didn't know that.
Like I cannot I can't it's a very unique smell. Like even if you've never been there before, you're like, oh, we're close to the boats. We can tell. It's a very unique smell. And like I'm sure if I look online I could find out what it is. But they have very specific different colors of water depending on like where you are in the park. Because if they're trying to hide like things, like they have like dark water on purpose to hide
Oh.
like ride like tracks and stuff like that. So like the water that they have like where there's a boat outside that goes to a section of Magic Kingdom called Tom Sawyer's Island. That out there is all dark water, so you don't see the track that the giant boat is on
Oh.
and stuff like that. Like it's all very. The more I look into theme park design, just for fun, basically, the more I learn, and it's all bonkers. Like it's truthfully like there's no reason behind any of it. Like there's a reason
I
why. No, sorry, there's no reason why I should find this interesting, but everything has
I
intention.
cannot wait for you to learn more about Wonder Wharf.
I look forward
I
to
can't wait.
comparing it to Disney World. Like I'm sure they're very different, but like
Well, they are, but you have to keep in mind that Wonder Wharf is owned by Fish Odor.
yes,
So
Wonder Wharf is owned by animated Mr. Gold.
essentially, and he's very unique and he's very eclectic.
Yeah.
And oh, I can't wait. Now I see this is those moments of like anybody who has watched plenty of Bob's Burgers. If you have they know what I'm talking about of
Yeah.
how interesting Wonder Wharf is. It
Mm-hmm.
actually is. But you won't even know some of it until like season 13. So,
Lovely.
not 13, maybe 12,
Mm-hmm.
12. You've got some time, but like you learn more and more about Wonder Wharf as we go on, and it's such a great setting. It's one of my favorite settings,
Mm-hmm. No, that's fair.
and out of everything, that it's
Yeah.
just fish odor. It's fish odor, like
Yeah, I think the best way I feel like for me right now to conceptualize Wonder Wharf is it's designed by someone playing Roller Coaster Tycoon, trying to make it the most
yes,
dangerous and cheapest like theme park ever. That's the gist that I get.
that's that's essentially it. That's
And
Wonder Wharf. Like
as
it
someone who's
was.
played a lot of Roller Coaster Tycoon, it's
Just
not hard.
imagine what things you created as a child playing that game.
I mean, not even as a child. I played it recently with my best friend.
Oh, I love this.
Because her boyfriend was able to find like a digital like a copy like a definitely like torrented copy online, and we were playing it. And
Send that to me. I want to play.
I will message him, um, but we were making one of the islands, and I was like, what if it was an island one? I was like, what if we made a roller coaster that was like once you go up, it's just loop de loops all the way around the island. She's like, I don't think the physics of that is gonna work. I'm like, just try it. So we did it. And the first time it didn't work, I'm like, okay, what if we adjust like the steepness or whatever of the launch? Once we did that one adjustment, it worked just fine. It was like 5 loop de loops all the way around the island, and she was like, "How?" And she's a civil engineer, so she was like, "I don't think this is gonna work." And
Okay.
I was like, "Let's just try it. Why not? It looks like fun." It became the highest earner attraction of that theme park,
Okay, that's hilarious.
and she doubted Loop de Loop Island.
Do not doubt Loop de Loop Island.
Never doubt Loop de Loop Island. Thank you all for listening. Join us next time when we discuss Once Upon a Time, episode 214, Manhattan. Don't forget to like, rate, and follow the podcast wherever you listen so you can be notified every time we publish a new episode. Follow us at OBDYK_pod on Instagram and TikTok. And if you'd like to join our new book club, You can find the link with more details in our show notes.
This has been an episode of Okay, But Did You Know? A TV and media podcast. It was hosted by Katie and Lauren and edited by Katie.